The Depths of Wonder, An Encounter with the Nautilus, based on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, by Jules Verne, 1870. The frigid waters of the North Atlantic closed over Professor Pierre Aronnax, like a suffocating shroud as he plunged into the darkness, his heart hammering against his ribs. Moments before, he had stood aboard the deck of the Abraham Lincoln, the United States Navy frigate that had pursued the mysterious sea monster for months across the world's oceans. Now cast into the churning sea, alongside his faithful servant Conseil and the hot-tempered harpooner Ned Land, he found himself at the mercy of forces beyond his comprehension. The collision had been tremendous, a grinding, metallic impact that had sent shockwaves through the entire vessel. Whatever they had struck was no whale, no giant squid, but something altogether more extraordinary and terrifying. As Aronnax fought to keep his head above the waves, his scientific mind raced even as his body struggled for survival. The accounts from ship after ship, the reports of an impossibly fast creature with a phosphorescent glow, the perfectly circular holes punched through vessels' hulls, none of it suggested any known marine life. "Professor, Professor!" Conseil's voice cut through the roar of the waves, steady and devoted even in this moment of mortal peril. The loyal Flemish servant had followed his master into the sea without hesitation, as Aronnax knew he would. Somewhere in the darkness, Ned Land's more colorful vocabulary echoed across the water as the Canadian harpooner cursed their predicament with characteristic vigor. As the three men struggled to stay afloat in the debris-scattered water, Aronnax became aware of a strange sensation. The water around them seemed to be glowing with an eerie greenish light. The phosphorescence grew stronger, and suddenly, rising from the depths like some mechanical leviathan, came the source of all their troubles. It was no monster of flesh and blood, but a creation of steel and brass that defied everything Aronnax thought he knew about naval architecture. The submarine, for that was undoubtedly what it was, broke the surface with majestic grace, water cascading from its sleek, elongated hull. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly luminescence, and Aronnax realized with a mixture of terror and scientific fascination that they were witnessing something unprecedented in human history. This vessel moved beneath the waves with the ease of a fish, yet it was clearly the product of advanced engineering beyond anything existing in the world's navies. "Mon Dieu," Aronnax whispered, his voice barely audible above the lapping waves. "It's magnificent." The submarine's conning tower rose like a metallic island from the sea, and hatches began to open with the precision of clockwork. Figures appeared on the vessel's deck, men, unmistakably, but wearing strange diving suits unlike anything Aronnax had encountered in his extensive travels. They moved with purpose and efficiency, their attention focused on the three survivors bobbing helplessly in the water. As strong hands pulled them from the sea onto the strange vessel's deck, Aronnax caught his first glimpse of the submarine's interior through an open hatch. The walls gleamed with polished metal and were lined with instruments whose purposes he could only guess at. Electric lights, for they could be nothing else, illuminated corridors that seemed to stretch impossibly far into the vessel's interior. The air itself seemed charged with possibility and danger. The man who approached them commanded instant attention. Tall and imposing, with penetrating dark eyes and an aristocratic bearing, he surveyed his unexpected guests with a mixture of curiosity and calculation. When he spoke, his voice carried the authority of absolute command, tinged with an accent that Aronnax couldn't immediately place. "Gentlemen," the stranger said, his English precise despite the foreign inflection, "I am Captain Nemo, and you are now aboard the Nautilus. Your pursuit of my vessel has ended, but your journey is just beginning." As the submarine began its descent back into the mysterious depths, Aronnax realized that his life as a conventional marine biologist was over. Whatever lay ahead in the depths of the world's oceans, it would challenge everything he thought he knew about science, humanity, and the very limits of possibility.